What is the most horrible joke you know? A beautiful woman is standing on a bridge, looking over the side and thinking about jumping off. A homeless man walks up to her. She sees the man coming and says, "Go away. There's nothing you can say to change my mind." He says, "Well, if you're going to kill yourself anyway, why don't we frick? At least I'll enjoy it." "Absolutely not. You're disgusting," she replies. The man turns and starts walking away. "Is that all you're going to say? You're not going to try to convince me that life is worth living? Where are you going?" "I have to make it down to the bottom. If I hurry, you'll still be warm," he says. Well, that's one way to make someone change their mind. I was sitting next to this really hot Thai girl on the bus and all I could think to myself was, "Don't get an erection. Don't get an erection." But she did. It was only when she drove me back to her place and reversed her car into a space first time that I thought something was up. What's the difference between a Pakistan elementary school and a Taliban outpost? I don't know, I just fly the drone. What do you do if an epileptic falls in a pool? Throw in the laundry. Hey, that's not funny, man. My dad's an epileptic and he died because he had a fit while he was swimming in the pool. He choked on a sock. A black man takes a girl home from a nightclub. She says, "Show me it's true what they say about black men." So he stabs her and nicks her purse. "Oi mate, you nickin' my purse, I'll gabble a Hamza key into the bloody nipper." Why do black guys have such large dongs? So they have something to play with on Christmas. How do you start a rave in Ethiopia? Staple a piece of bread to the ceiling, comma. Why isn't Hitler invited to the barbecue? Because he always burns the Franks. What do you call 100 dead babies? A good start. What does a black man do after fricking? 15 to life. What is black and dangerous to cut through? The line at KFC. What is the worst part about running 100 meters in under 10 seconds? Being black. So Helen Keller walks into a bar, and a table, and a chair, and a wall. If a camera adds on 10 pounds, do African children even exist? So a debaucher, a masochist, a pyromaniac, a necrophile, a sadist, a pedophile, and a zoophile are all standing in a jail cell. The debaucher says, "I'd like to frick something." The zoophile says, "A cat." The pedophile says, "Even better, a kitten." The sadist asks, "How about we beat the kitten up and then frick it?" The necrophile adds, "Alright, let's beat a kitten to death and then frick it." Then the pyromaniac says, "Okay, how about we beat a kitten to death, light it on fire, and then frick it?" After all of this, the masochist finally speaks up and says, "Meow." This is like the aristocrats with structure and progression and a proper punchline. A man goes to the doctor and says, "I need birth control for my 10-year-old daughter." The doctor replies, "She's 10 years old and has an active private life." The man says, "Active? Heck no. Most of the time she just lies there and cries." So, I was fricking my daughter when my wife walked in on us. You should have seen the shocked look on her face. I don't know if it was because I was fricking my daughter, or if it was because the abortion clinic let me keep her. What's the hardest part about being a pedophile? Trying to fit in. A guy walks into his daughter's bedroom and sees her masturbating with a cucumber. He says to himself, "Oh man, I was gonna eat that. Now it's gonna taste like cucumber." Scared scream. How do you starve a black man? You hide his food stamps under his work boots. What do you call 5 black people fricking? A threesome. For those who don't know, he is referring to the 3/5 compromise. Why can't children in Africa use medicine? Because on the back it says, "Use after meal." Ha, totally using. At dinner, with my mom. How do you know when your sister is on her period? Your dad's dong tastes like blood. How do you turn a fruit into a vegetable? You hit the F with your car. What do you use to blindfold an Asian? Floss. A windshield. What's the difference between Hitler and Michael Phelps? Phelps can finish a race. How many potatoes does it take to kill an Irishman? None. What does a Jew with an erection get when he walks into a wall? A broken nose. What's a Jew's biggest dilemma? Free ham. What's the difference between a Catholic priest and acne? Acne doesn't come on a boy's face until he is 13. What's so good about an Ethiopian blowjob? You just know she'll swallow. What's the difference between a black guy and a pizza? A pizza can feed a family of 4. What does a white woman make for dinner? Reservations. How do you swat 200 flies at one time? Hit an Ethiopian in the face with a frying pan. I'm full of M. Why did the mountain climber go over the mountain? Because he couldn't go under it. Just realized you meant bad jokes, not bad jokes. Oops. To yell in his face. You violated her. You murdered her. You killed her children. How do you get a Jewish girl's number? Roll up her sleeve. What's the difference between black people and cancer? Cancer got jobs. Lol. As a cancer patient, bald head and eyebrows and all, I'm always looking for a good cancer joke to throw off the nurses. What do black people and bicycles have in common? They both stop working when you take the chains off. I don't think I've ever heard a more sectarian joke. How many hearts are being broken right now? A Brazilian. Germany plowed down Brazil like the Amazon rainforest. It was Germany's second biggest massacre. What's the best way to surprise a blind person? Leave the plunger in the toilet. Leave the iron by the phone. A man gets a call that his wife is giving birth. He races to the hospital and waits eagerly in the waiting room. Eventually the doctor comes out with an odd look on his face. What's wrong, doctor? Is my baby okay? Is it a boy or a girl? The doctor looks up at him. It's the damnedest thing. Your baby is a miracle, sir, he says. The doctor leads the man into a room where the baby is laying soundly, cuddled up in a blanket. Your baby can float. It's amazing. Watch. The doctor lifts the child up a couple inches from the bed, then drops it. Nothing happens. What are you doing, says the man. Let me get my child and leave. No, 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 you have to see this. It did it before. He picks up the child again, but this time drops it onto the floor. The baby hits the ground with a solid thud. Totally distraught, with tears in his eyes, the man pleads for the doctor to stop. No, 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 he totally did it. You have to see this. It's a miracle. The doctor picks the child up off the ground and throws it out the window. The baby falls several stories and explodes on a car. Oh my god. What have you done, screams the man. Don't worry about it. The baby was a stillborn. Haha, you should have seen the look on your face. I don't think any of these are jokes people thought of. Your generation is too reliant on technology, said my grandpa. No, your generation is too reliant on technology, I retorted as I pulled the plug on his life support to further prove my point. Oh god, why? 3 vampires walk into a bar. The first 2 order blood martinis, but the third only asks for water. Why water, asked the other 2. The third one pulls out a tampon and says, I'm making tea. Wow, this one is old but great. What's the difference between a Boy Scout and a Jew? Boy Scouts come back from camp. Not always. What kind of file do you need to turn a 15mm hole into a 40mm hole? A PR file. I'm going to heck. A black kid covered himself with white paint and ran at his mother saying, Look mom, I'm a white kid. She proceeds to whip his butt saying, You're making a mess. What's wrong with you? The kid then goes to his dad saying, Look dad, look, I'm a white kid. He proceeds to whip his butt saying, What the heck is wrong with you? You're making a mess. The kid goes to his sister with a defeated look and shoulders slumped. She asks what's wrong. He said, I have only been white for 5 minutes, and I already hate NS. What breaks when you give it to a 2-year-old? Her hips. What do you do after violating a blind deaf girl? Break her fingers so she can't tell anyone. I legitimately thought good idea after reading this. I have a couple to start. How do you stop a black man from drowning? Take your foot off his head. How do you get a black guy out of your tree? Cut the rope. How do you pick up girls at Auschwitz? With a broom and dustpan. And this one doesn't translate well over text, so I will explain it so you guys and gals can use it in the future. Start by asking how can a mom save $100 around Christmas, send her kids to Sandy Hook Elementary. At this point the person is either laughing or calling you a horrible person. That's when you start the real joke. Start to apologize. I know I actually feel really bad for those kids. They went to school looking to read some books, but all they got were a couple magazines. Everyone laughs. Optional third part, haha, yeah, that joke never gets old. Just like the kids. I don't get that last joke. It must be aimed at a younger audience. A priest, pedophile, and a thief walk into a bar. He orders a drink. Have you ever tried African food? Neither have they. What's white on top and black on the bottom? Society. What's black on top and white on the bottom? Debauchery. Statistics show that 9/10 people enjoy gang violation. How do you circumcise a redneck? Kick his sister in the jaw. 8/10. Dad starting to have second thoughts. What's the difference between a baby and an orange? I don't frick an orange after I peel its skin off. Lord help me. What do spinach and riding back doors have in common? If you are forced to have it as a kid, you'll hate it as an adult. Daniel Tosh. Ctrl+F just to see where Tosh was in this lineup. Little disappointed. Then again, he is probably trolling this thread for material. Why do black people stink? So blind people can hate them too. What do you call a black man in the ocean? Pollution. What do you call all the black men in the ocean? A solution. Inendlasung. I surrender. So I'm holding the door for this Japanese guy, and he looks over to me and says thank you. Can't believe he brought up Pearl Harbor like that. How do you make a firefighter cry? Kill his family. By burning them. What's the hardest part of eating a vegetable? The wheelchair. How do you know a black girl is pregnant? When you pull out the tampon and the cotton is already picked. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.